Hello, welcome to Pruitt PC Solutions. In this video, we're going to be looking at the relay for the headlights on a Mazda Miata, an NA Mazda Miata to be specific. So this relay does not work anymore. We're going to take a look at it and just kind of do what I would do with one of these relays if I had one that wasn't working, which apparently I do. So we're going to open it up with our spudger. You can use a butter knife or a screwdriver, whatever. Just want to get those open. And I usually grab there. There we go. So there is our board. Okay. Looks a little rough. So I have a tester to test these capacitors, but not everyone does. So I'm just going to change them, okay? And that's what we're going to be doing here, changing these capacitors. So this one is a 10 volt 100 UF. I've got one right there, good to go. So I'm going to go ahead and desolder that. With our wick. So you just press your iron up against it. I like to use the side usually. And that should sop it up. Now what you look for is the sheen. It'll get moist, I guess. You'll see it suck up in there like that. So you can just make sure you get all the solder off, or at least most of it. There. Get the side of the iron on there. There we go. And when you get it, when you see it start to sheen because it's absorbing in, just give it a second because it's going to suck up anything touching that solder too. So if you want to get it all, that's what you want to do. So there is our capacitor free, good to go. If we look at the board where it goes in, we're going to see a circle where it goes right there. So the right side of the circle has the circle filled in a little bit. That's going to be our ground side. Sometimes it's split down the middle and it's grayed out on one side. That's your ground side also. So what we want to do is we take our capacitor. The long pole is going to be the positive. Another way of looking is that line on the cap itself lines up with the short post, so that's the ground side. Yeah, so we'll just go ahead and put that in, get it down to the board enough so that it's out of the way where it needs to be, but we don't need to force it down to the board all the way. Give it a little bend and then you're good to go. Hit it with some solder, and we are done with that one. All right, there's one down. We're going to cut it with the flush cutters. There we go. One. Now we've got a 50 volt 0.22. which I have right here. Get our wick out. We're looking at this guy right here. Easy peasy. And then a little push with the soldering iron just to make sure that they are not stuck anymore. Now this one, we're going to take note, look at the board. There's no indicator of ground that I can see. So to avoid having to trace the board and figure it out ourselves, we're just going to take note that the ground is towards the inside of the board, or positive to the out. So off that goes. In with the new. Positive on the outside. Bend the poles. And there we go. Little solder again. Okay. There's two. One more to go. So now we're looking at our 16 volt 22 UF. I want to note too that if your solder doesn't absorb nicely into the wick like mine is, because it's actually being really easy for me right now, you have two options. You can add liquid flux to your wick, or you can add fresh solder to the joint that you're trying to work on. Those two things will help. This one's being a little tricky. I think we're okay. Now we look at the board, we see our ground side, we do that accordingly. And solder. Okay, so the last thing I want to do is we're going to touch up these contacts on the back. This is something that is commonly done to try to repair these things on the cheap. They are not cheap anymore, so it's good to be able to fix them. So I'm going to switch us over to the microscope and show you just what I'm talking about. Okay, so here we are looking at the board, and we're looking at the contacts, the pins sticking out the back. So we're looking for anything that's a little wonky. We can see a lot of old solder. There's something a little wonky right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit that. Let it get melty. Oh, look at that. It needs solder. So we're going to add solder to that one. And the one next to it. And then you can see the ones to the left of those. They're maybe a little old. Let's see what happens if we just kind of heat it up. There, kind of freshens it up a little bit, you know? Make sure the connection's good. And just repeat this. It's going to make sure all your connections are good to go. And that's really about it. And there we are. Good to go. Looks a lot better than it did. I'm going to add a little solder right here while I'm looking at it. Okay, I'm pretty happy with where we are now. So at this point, I would just put it back in the case and go give it a try. So yeah, good luck. Hopefully the fix does it for you. And if you weren't doing this specific thing, hopefully you learned a little something from the video. And it was very nice having you here. Thank you so much for watching the video. I will see you in the next one.